That's all of them for now.
are, Sylvia, where we belong, on the cutting edge. The Guild has recently debuted an entirely new art form. It is daring, it is immersive, it is karaoke. And I should like to try it. Ah, that was invigorating.
Good job. But are you okay?
Of course. Why? Were my warbles not to your liking?
It's more the choice of song. And I'm pretty sure you were crying through the third verse.
Please, do not take my song selection too seriously. I did not choose it for the lyrics, dear Sylvia, but for the pitch. Muktuk's vocal range lies somewhere below bass. I am a happy walrus. I have much to be grateful for. Although, there is, I confess, a well of sadness within me. I tap it from time to time as fuel for art. Of late, despite all that is good in this life, I find that well is growing.
Is it something I can help with?
It is good of you to ask, and yet, your kindness, it deepens my shame. For I have not been entirely honest with you, Sylvia. I told you that the ancestors, they have been quiet. But in truth, they have been utterly silent. To have been on my pilgrimage for so long, and heard nothing. It is worrying, Sylvia. Deeply so. I strive to be deserving of the ancestors' guidance. I push myself to my limits until my muscles ache. Yet, they remain silent. And so, naturally, I wonder, is the problem with Muktuk? Is Muktuk not worthy of their wisdom?
You must have proven yourself worthy by now. Based on everything you've told me about the purpose of a pilgrimage, you're going above and beyond what's expected of you.
Perhaps you are right. Perhaps this darkness is meant only to show how brightly I can shine. But I am tired of being tested, Sylvia. And I begin to worry that the problem is not my worthiness, but something more profound. What if... I can hardly bring myself to say it, but say it I must. What if there are no ancestors? What if those who claim to have heard them were untruthful? What if I am only the butt of some grand joke?
It's only natural to have moments of doubt, but you shouldn't doubt what you've accomplished. You're so talented, Muktuk. Your upgrades have demonstrably improved my life.
As ever, you humble me. And it is very persuasive to focus on the artistry. If you were selling me my own cauldrons, I would buy!
There, see? You get where I'm coming from.
There are things I do well, and it is good of you to remind me. But I have grander ambitions. Fear not, however. I shall not allow myself to become mired in self-pity. For wallowing is the ultimate self-indulgence, and I do not have the time to waste.
Muktuk is being too hard on himself. He needs to see that he's already accomplished great things. Maybe I can help with that.
I'm almost out of material for my pipe.
I'll go out on a limb and guess you don't buy your tobacco at the marketplace.
It actually isn't tobacco at all. Just a soothing blend of flower petals and witch bramble.
No wonder it smells so floral.
Let me show you how I do it. Until recently, I reused old jars for fermentation. But Muktuk's craftsmanship is second to none. I'm sure he's told you so himself. You want to take a spin with the pestle while I cycle out the fermenter? Make it nice and fine.
It's kind of relaxing.
Isn't it? Small work with the hands can be meditative, particularly if you aren't the type to enjoy sitting still. And we both know you don't like being idle.
The smell is soothing too. Maybe I should take a puff from your pipe.
Oh, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Even if it isn't tobacco, the smoke isn't good for your lungs. I know that might sound hypocritical of me, but as a Fae being, I have less to worry about. Humans are fragile, and I'd like to keep you in one piece.
Thanks for looking out for me. You're a good influence.
I'm glad you didn't take offense. If I'm honest, this touches on a topic I've been dwelling on lately. I'm not sure exactly how to put this.
Not to be a total mimic, but remember to breathe.
That's right, of course, that's right. Managing stress brings serenity of mind, and vice versa.
See, you've taught me a lot.
I'm glad about that, and glad for the reminder that I can speak openly with you. Here's what has me troubled. You're human, Sylvia, and I'm not. My lifespan is longer than yours. My body is more resilient. I'm not immortal by any means, but chances are I'll still be here when you're gone. Given my history, I'm sure you can imagine how that makes me feel.
The good stuff is worth some hurt. I mean, what's the alternative? You said you don't want to hide away, and that means taking the good and the bad as it comes.
That's certainly wise. It's hard to argue that I would be better off unfeeling and alone. I was content in my solitude these last years, but now that I know what I was missing, there's no going back. So I'm not suggesting that we should stop spending time together, not at all.
That's a relief.
Hey, I'm not one for drama, you know that. I'm only trying to be honest about my fears. And if I'm overprotective at times, or if I ever seem like I'm trying to push you away, I hope you'll at least know where I'm coming from. Not a place of callousness, quite the opposite.
I know you care about me.
Good. Don't forget it. Please be patient with me, Sylvia. It's an adjustment for me. It might take me some time to get used to it.
I want Saffron to understand that I'm not expecting her to move at anyone's pace but her own. Words don't seem sufficient. So how about a meaningful gesture?
Come on, blood brother. Let's get out of here.
Where to?
There's a party at the Heroes Guild, and we want to see the place. As buildings go, that guild hall is one fine sea vessel. The fact that it's intact at all after a Kraken battle tells you those sailors knew what they were doing. And they really showed that old witch a thing or two.
Do you remember the day Maven was defeated?
Remember? Jeez, how old do you think I am? But the Grey Muzzles tell stories of a time when this particular island was totally off limits. Whatever else she was up to, I ain't one to judge. But keeping the riches of this place to herself? That gets my hackles up.
Her death was good for business.
Ain't no disputing. Although, they never found a body or nothing. Makes you wonder. Anyway, about this party. If you can believe it, Pepper and I weren't exactly invited. But we heard you know some of those heroes. Think you can get us in?
All right. Get in my knapsack. It'll be tight, but we'll be able to stroll right in.
That's one idea, but I figured you could just, open a window. Our cat-like agility will do the rest. Hey, this party's all right. I mean, nothing's on fire, but it's early still.
I like the trophies. We could do something like that.
We'd have too many. The ship would sink under the weight of our many triumphs. The next round's on the captain! Huzzah!
Sylvia, you are wonderful. I am so glad you're a brother. Yeah. Blood brother.
Oh boy, somebody got into the catnip. Sylvia, you ready to go? I could use some help getting the captain back. Also, I've been getting dirty looks since that chandelier came down. Like it's my fault it wasn't bolted in better.
I could talk to Baptiste, try to smooth things over.
I ain't bothered. What's he gonna do? But here, was gonna give you this coupon anyway. You can always pass it along if you want to mollify him.
I think I'd rather keep it for myself.
Now you're talking like a pirate.
Ooh, man, Bosfin took losing hard.
We got a thorn in our paw sort of situation down at the docks, Sylvia. You been up to any mischief we ought to know about?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Ha! Yeah, spoken like a true troublemaker. Now, normally I like mischief the way Pepper likes milk.
Frequent. And a little sour.
But there's a depressed shark man wandering around the docks, wailing about how his glory got snatched by a red-haired witch with a pet chicken? Call me scurvy-brained, but somehow I think you have something to do with that.
Bosfin is an adult. He's responsible for his own actions.
Great! Tell him that, would ya? And while you're at it, tell him to take his sad sacking elsewhere. All the wailing is scaring away the fish.
all of them, for now.
can't believe it's come to this. Didn't I put in the work? Didn't I visualize success? I deserved to come out on top. I was meant to be a winner. Yet, here I am, all washed up like a beached whale.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, look who it is. The Mixin' Vixen herself.
I know I'm probably the last person you want to see right now.
You mean 'cause you filleted me in front of the whole town? Deep sixed my potions operation? Credit where it's due, Minnow. You sunk my business. And my rep. So go ahead and gloat, if that's what you're here for.
Maybe a little. After all, you came at me pretty hard.
See? I knew you had that killer instinct. Just wish I'd seen that before it was too late. I kept going into your shop to try and scare you into backing down. Little did I realize, you were sizing me up the whole time, giving me the old bottom treatment.
Now that you mention it, I could use that strategy more often. But I'm here to give you advice. You gotta stop moping around the docks like you just got stood up for prom. Keep it up, and you'll find yourself on the wrong side of a few dozen angry cats. How long before they decide you bear a striking resemblance to sushi?
Didn't know you cared. You getting sweet on me?
Maybe. I haven't decided yet whether to keep you around or toss you back.
You want to toss me around? You better lift with your legs. Anyway, you got a point about the belly aching. Time to get my act together. Never had a knack for playing the victim anyhow. In fact, losing's about the only thing I'm no good at.
Wow. If only you could bottle up your confidence and sell that.
You might actually be onto something there, chum. This town's full of neurotics and self-doubters. They could use someone like me. Somebody with unflappable conviction to empower them with a first-class pep talk.
Pep talks? I thought you were more about the put-downs.
It's all just force of personality, right? People listen when I talk, and I can be real motivating when I try. You ever feel plagued by self-doubt? Worried you're losing your touch? You just come see old Boss Finn, and I'll give you the boost you need to buff up your haggling. For a modest fee, of course.
Back to hustling already? I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Well, hey, everybody likes a comeback story, right? And be honest. Don't I got one of those faces you just can't help but root for?
Well, your razor-sharp smile does inspire some feelings. Mostly fight or flight.
Won't make the mistake of fighting you again, and I won't stop you from flying off. But if you ever feel like flying back this way, consider it an open invite.
I'm glad to see you today. Even more than usual. It's those warm welcomes that keep me coming back. Well, I hope you still feel that way after I ask you for a favor. Tell me something. Have you done your finger stretches today? Because I've got 85 birthday cards to sign, and I'll bet you could forge my signature pretty convincingly. It's actually just a squiggly line. I bet this brightens your siblings' day. I bet it makes them shriek. I chose this particular image for a reason. Growing up, our parents used Maven as their own personal boogeyman. Luna, you better clean your room / finish your dinner / ace that test, or Maven will come and take you away to her island. It probably blows their minds that I moved to that very island of my own free will. I appreciate the help. We're all from the same clutch, so birthdays can be... a lot. Does this mean your birthday is coming up? Not for a couple months, but the mail to the mainland is so super slow, and I don't want these to be late. I usually just work on my birthday, but maybe we can do something fun this year. It's awfully nice having a friend in town. It makes me happy. I especially like having someone around to help me forget about work for a little while.
Wait, really? I thought you liked thinking about work.
I mean, generally. But my new client, the one I told you about in a vague and mysterious fashion, she is kind of a lot.
Ooh, who is it? I promise not to tell anyone.
Technically, I'm still bound by an NDA. I can't name any names.
there are some loopholes in the agreement, and I know you're trustworthy. I'll tell you this much. The client is a celebrity on the mainland. She's royalty, in fact.
Do royals need publicists?
Do they ever? I mean, if you think about it, their authority sort of relies on selling people a certain image. Noble bloodlines, grace, taste, and wisdom, a self-evident right to rule. Royals are constantly selling a narrative. And if word gets out that a certain spoiled princess is ill-suited to choose breakfast, much less the course of a kingdom, well, that's when her subjects start asking uncomfortable questions about the line of succession. Some of them might even go a little cuckoo, if you know what I mean.
It sounds like important work. You're basically a kingmaker.
Oh, I don't know. Mostly I'm drafting social media posts about what she's eating for breakfast. But if I make it through this trial period, it'll pay well. That's something.
You can tough it out. The only way out is through, remember?
That's right. You know me. I can handle the stress. And the benefits of this situation potentially outweigh any negatives. To me, there's nothing better than amplifying worthy voices and ideas. I love giving the little guy a platform. But the little guy doesn't tend to have a robust marketing budget. Working with a larger client can be a hassle, but taking their money lets me offer affordable services to smaller clients. As long as I can juggle the demands on my time, I can make everybody happy. And that includes my parents. I know I'm not supposed to care what they think, but I can't help caring a little bit. And they were thrilled by this news, Sylvia. Like, seriously over the moon. They still don't get what a marketer publicist does. But working for a princess, they wrap their heads around that super quick.
I see what you mean. And I'm happy that your parents are happy for you.
Thanks. And just to prove all that help the little guy stuff is more than just talk, I have a whole new coupon for you.
Ooh, careful, or you'll spoil me.
Don't even joke about it. One diva on my client list is more than enough. But as far as I'm concerned, you're the one who deserves the royal treatment. You're awesome, Sylvia. And that's a message I'm happy to promote totally free of charge.
All set for our study session? I've got the flashcards.
And I've got the snacks. Although I'm afraid you'll have to sign a waiver first. Some of these snack peppers are hot enough to scald your tongue.
Yeah, I might just stick with pretzels.
Oh, this is pointless.
You'll get the hang of it.
No. I mean, there's no point in doing this. I already know I'm going to ace this exam. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's a bit ominous.
I've had enough, Sylvia. For too long have I languished on the surface world, shackled by the rules of polite society. Now, at last, I have the upper hand.
I forgot how much you enjoyed playing the villain.
It's positively thrilling. But I'm not just role-playing here. I've got gossip. Hot, juicy, damaging gossip. The sort a person might pay to make go away.
Wait. You're talking about...
Blackmail.
Is this about my snoring? Because I'm not that embarrassed.
Dear thing, no. I wouldn't dream of fleecing you. I mean, what would I even get out of you? Loose change and pocket lint?
Ha.
Listen, I didn't go looking for trouble. not this time. But I was naturally curious about the identity of the man who will be proctoring my exam. I thought I'd wear his favorite perfume, perhaps, or the colors of his favorite sports team. Just a little something to nudge his perception of me in a positive direction.
I'm not sure that would help with a totally objective multiple-choice test, but okay.
Imagine my surprise, however, when I realized I recognized the man. I'd seen him once before. Among the revelers at a pirate jamboree.
He must have made quite an impression.
You could say that. He was thrown overboard midway through the party, in fact, after he was caught pawing through a litter box. Some people claimed he'd simply dropped his keys. Others believed he was deep in his cups and looking for buried doubloons. The outcome was the same. His actions were declared an irredeemable party foul, and he was forced to walk the plank before he could stink up the place. I photoglyphed the whole thing, and I can't imagine he'd want those images to be posted anywhere. All this to say, I have a trump card, and now I only have to decide whether to use it.
You're better than this, Roxanne. Blackmail is cheating. And you're brilliant. So why resort to cheating?
Well, the flattery is welcome. As for the moralizing, curse it. If I'm honest, I was hoping you'd hate this plan. Lately, I've grown increasingly uncomfortable with shortcuts. That's due in no small part to your influence. More than once, when faced with a moral conundrum, I've found myself asking, what would Sylvia think?
It sounds like you're developing a conscience. You know the right thing to do. It's just easier for you to do it when you can blame it on me.
A conscience and a psychoanalyst all in one, eh? You're a perfectly rotten influence, Sylvia.
And by that you mean, I'm a good influence.
Call it what you like. It's aggravating. You have such an innocent demeanor, but you certainly know how to deploy your charm to get what you want. Turn that magnetic sway onto your customers. I think you'll like the results.
Thanks. Now, should we get back to studying?
Perhaps later. I have some machinations to ponder. And it's much easier to be wicked when you're not around.
Roxanne is struggling to walk the straight and narrow.
I should find a way to show support for her new lease on life.
Sylvia! It was so kind of you to donate those potions! I'm including them as prizes as part of a new Hero of the Month program. And if that goes over well, I'll be buying more from you for future months!
I guess it pays to be generous.
Well, it certainly got me thinking about how nice it would be to have that sort of control over my own business dealings. You didn't have to ask anyone's permission to make a donation. You didn't have to justify your decision to your stakeholders.
Well, I did get some dirty looks from the owl. But hey, a Hero of the Month program sounds like a good way to boost morale.
Oh, that's the barest tip of the iceberg. I'm making some changes around here. Big ones. You see, I realized something. In all our discussions of how we might make this organization better for the heroes, I was towing the company line. Even when my heart was with the heroes, my head was caught up in a certain way of thinking, an old way of thinking. It's the old ways that are broken. We need new ideas, new paradigms.
Hence the big changes you mentioned.
That's right. And those big changes start with the dissolution of the guild.
Disillusion?
You heard me! Effective immediately! The Heroes Guild is no more! And in its place shall rise the Heroes Guild! I just realized that it's probably confusing without seeing it spelled out. But there's an apostrophe now!
Still confusing.
At its heart, it's a simple idea. Rafta's Heroes Guild has always been a part of the larger organization. A franchise beholden to the main chapter back home. But this particular chapter is a risky venture by modern standards. The guilds of the mainland are a well-oiled mechanism. Out here, everything is less predictable and more dangerous. So, my family feels they've put much more into Rafta's guild than they've gotten out of it. They've gone so far as to call it a money pit. So, I offer to take it off their hands!
So now you're in charge?
Yes and no. I'm writing a new charter, one that will transform our little clubhouse into a non-profit operation. The value that the heroes generate will be funneled directly back into the organization and into their own pockets. As for the question of who's in charge, if I've learned anything in recent days, it's the limits of my own perspective. We'll be holding elections soon to determine who will join me on a leadership council. By electing and empowering representatives from their own ranks and establishing a system of checks and balances, the heroes can rest assured that my own personal blind spots won't become systemic blind spots capable of impeding the organization as a whole.
Wow. It actually sounds like you did it. You solved all the guild's problems.
Well, not all our problems. My chambers are still drafty, and the lack of natural light in the morning is just abysmal.
Still, I'm surprised your family agreed to this. Even if the guild isn't as lucrative as they hoped, it's obviously generating revenue. And as unique as Rafta is, there's potential for this chapter to be massively profitable down the line.
The truth is, they didn't just hand it over. They are business folk, after all. But I was able to convince them that the guild's prospective earnings were somewhat less than the value of my inheritance. So I'm officially out of the will, and my monthly stipend is a thing of the past.
You mean, you're broke now?
For the time being, but I still think I came out ahead in this negotiation. The guild is going places, Sylvia, and I and my heroes now stand to benefit directly from the hard work we put into it. Plus, my mother still intends to send regular care packages, so my hair care regimen, at least, will not suffer in the meantime.
Phew.
I feel good about this, Sylvia. It's the start of a whole new way of doing things. A heroes' guild that is for the heroes and by the heroes.
Hence the apostrophe.
Exactly! You see, it's not just a flashy change. But that's enough shop talk, surely. Come, let's make the most of our time. Ah, that skull does loom large, doesn't it? As monuments go, it's a little morbid, but it's a good reminder of where we've been and of what awaits us at the end. I'm happy that between those points our two paths converged. Your friendship has been a guiding light in my life of late. Truly, I had been stumbling in the dark. You helped me make sense of my new surroundings, and you helped me refine my purpose.
You helped me too.
It's good of you to say so. And I trust our partnership shall continue to thrive in the years to come. You know, now that I think about it, you're quite fearless, Sylvia. Cool under pressure and honorable, too. The Heroes Guild could use a recruit like you.
You must be joking.
Ha! You know me well. And I'm glad that you do. Thanks ever so much for being that rarest of creatures. A true friend.
That's all of them, for now.
I'm glad you dropped in on me today, Sylvia.
Well, thank you, Corsac. That's downright warm.
Trying to take your advice to heart, exchanging pleasantries and the like. It's not all that different from how I conduct myself when I'm in a new biome. The more initiative you show, the easier it is to pivot if things don't go your way.
I can see the parallels.
And looking at the town as its own sort of biome makes a certain amount of sense.
It's working out for me, anyway. I feel more at ease lately. That said, I wouldn't mind a quick prowl around the forest, if you're up for it. Well, how about this weather? Oh, and if you're worried about running into any creatures out here, don't. I'm wearing lycanthrope musk. It'll keep most beasts at bay. Although, it's supposed to have the opposite effect on women.
I think it's working on me. I might have to lean in a bit closer.
I suppose that'd be fine. I probably haven't seemed entirely receptive to flirtation. I've enjoyed it when it's happened, though. Still, can't help but wonder if I'm missing something. You are dating someone, aren't you?
That's true.
Thought so. Your pheromones told me as much.
Wait, you could sense my relationship status by smelling me?
Nah, I'm just kidding. Mint told me. No harm and no foul, Sylvia. I don't mind a bit of harmless flirting. Just want you to know I know what's up.
You're more astute than you let on.
I pay attention. But for the longest time, that meant I was on the outside looking in. It's strange. I'm never lonely in the wilderness. I'm perfectly at ease in my own company, or in the company of animals. Squirrels excluded, obviously.
Obviously.
But as soon as I'm around people, all I can see is how different I am. And how poorly I fit in the spaces I'm meant to occupy.
We're all lonely sometimes. It's just part of being human.
But at the very least, I intend to keep your social calendar very full.
I've noticed, and I'm happy for it. Whatever else happens, I know I've got one true friend. And that's not a small thing. Not a small thing at all.
It just occurred to me. We're both in the business of curing people of what ails them.
I hadn't thought of it that way before.
I've got a point though, right? Your potions replenish health and shield against damage. And live music has the power to soothe the soul. I could use some soothing right now, actually. Let's hope this does the trick.
Is everything okay? You seem down.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a bummer. These things normally cheer me right up. But today it's all just a stark reminder of how audiences cheer style over substance. Which makes me question pretty much everything, actually. The time and effort I'm putting into writing a song of my own, is that just vanity? Back home, I have professional songwriters lining up to work with me. Maybe I should stick to what I'm good at and stop chasing windmills.
What you're good at?
Should I put my thoughts to music?
Following dreams can be pretty tough. I'm better off not trying to write my own stuff.
But I thought it was going well.
I thought so too. I was so confident, in fact, that I dropped in on an open mic night yesterday. I performed 2 songs. One of them was the original piece I've been working so hard on. The other was something new that my manager sent me. The Ballad of Greenbeard the Slime Slayer. It's every bit as juvenile and uninspired as it sounds. But, of the 2 songs, Greenbeard was the clear favorite.
I'm sorry. It's hard getting that sort of feedback.
Yeah, it's hard. But I suppose it's necessary. I thought I had a really solid idea, Syl. Something that hadn't been done before. I used all the conventions of a traditionally heroic ballad. But instead of focusing on an action hero, I wrote about a regular, everyday citizen. I wanted to show how the average woman is every bit as remarkable, as worthy of celebration as a muscled dude with a sword.
That sounds pretty interesting.
I thought so too. The audience didn't know what to make of it. I shouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised, if I'm honest. But I am disappointed. I was really hoping that crowd would prove me wrong. Instead, they confirmed what I've known all along. People don't want new and different. They want tried and true. So from now on, that's just what I'll give them.
I don't know.
You don't have to worry about me. Honest, I'm fine. I took a shot at something new and it didn't work out. But I still have plenty to offer. Including haggling tips. Remember a minute ago when I put my woes to song? Admit it, that catchy tune had you hooked.
I can use that in haggling, sure. But I'd rather cheer you up.
I must be taken to this hero gig, because the idea of smiting some monsters is more than enough to cheer me up. If you really want to help, you could always kick some potions my way, and I can go out and blow off some steam.
Sid is planning to take her professional frustrations out on monsters. But I think she'll be happier if she pours that energy into her art.
I had a feeling you'd decide to stick around today. I could read it in your aura when you flew in.
I didn't know you could read auras.
Sure I can. And not in some sort of frou-frou mystical sense neither. Sharks like me have got electroreception. Helps me pick up all sorts of information. Like whether I scare someone a little, or scare them a lot.
Imagine that. A whole extra sense. And you still lost.
Ho, cutting right to the gloating this time, are you? There's a lesson in this somewhere, isn't there? Something about striking when the moment's right. I guess all the preparation in the world don't matter much if you're not ready when the feeding frenzy starts.
I can agree with that. When making a sale, timing is everything.
That's good. Real good. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna write that one down.
Hold on. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
Sarcastic? I wouldn't disrespect you like that.
I'm pretty sure you would, though.
I see where you're coming from. I admit I got a little salty when we were rivals. But I know better than to bite the hand that feeds. And I don't intend to ignore advice from a successful business person like yourself. Would be nice if my next venture wasn't a total belly flop after all.
Next venture? You're not giving up on the pep talk shop already, are you?
That's just a temporary trifle. It'll never make me rich, but it should get me the seed money I need for what comes next. Normally, I'd hit up some of my venture capitalist buddies, but they haven't been so good about returning my calls since you made mincemeat of me in public.
You mean your friends ditched you just because you lost the competition?
Hard to blame them. Those guys don't waste their time with losers. And you all but tattooed a big ol' L on my forehead in front of the whole town.
Still, that's pretty harsh of them.
If you say so. But there are plenty of fish in the sea, right? And you might be just the fish I'm trawling for.
Consider me caught. Hook, line, and sinker.
And you're a catch-all, right? I'm tired of wallowing in defeat. It's time for the comeback story of the century!
To make your friends sorry? Make them regret they ever turned their backs on you?
Hey, I like the sound of that. Revenge is a great motivator, right? But, if I'm honest, I'd rather look forward than back. And, with the help of a true business guru like yourself, I'll be at the head of the pack in no time. So, what do you say, Teach? You ready to cram some wisdom in my willing noggin?
Wow, you make education sound almost violent. Also, I'm supposed to be the teacher in this scenario? I'm not qualified to teach anybody.
Sure. Not like you've got a degree, or real-world experience, and a proven record of success.
I guess when you put it that way, it kind of makes sense.
Give it some thought, all right? That's all I ask. And no pressure. I deal with rejection real well. Just ask those former friends of mine, assuming you can find what's left of them.
I've learned a troubling bit of news. It seems Anubia has a unique magical talent. She can create duplicates of herself. They're a little better than drones. They completely lack her, winning personality. But they're apparently smart enough to deliver her potions all over town. I've seen them shambling to and fro, and every one I saw represents a sale you didn't make. How long before we start losing our customers to the siren call of same-day delivery?
There's only one thing to do, Oswald. You must become my delivery boy.
I take offense at every word in that sentence.
Would you do it for a raise?
You know you've never paid me. Not a coin. You know that, right?
It's no wonder with that attitude.
That's all of them, for now.
All right, Teach. My pencils are sharpened and my phone's put away. So, what have you got for me?
Was I supposed to make a lesson plan or something? To be honest, I've been way too busy. I wasn't even sure you were serious before.
Serious about making a comeback? Serious about learning from a master? Sure, I'm serious, Teach. I'm serious as a shark attack. Although, I gotta confess to a bit of confusion. When you beat me, you scored a good bit of chowder. So, what'd you spend it on? Bird feed?
I use the winnings to pay down my debt. Any other gold I make goes right back into the business.
What? No fancy jewelry? No jet skis or swanky vacays?
I mean, maybe one day. But I'm in a building phase right now, which means the needs of the business take priority.
Dang, you see? I'm learning something already. So you made the shop look all shoddy on purpose, is that it? Going for the hole-in-the-wall appeal.
It's really not as shoddy as it used to be. Look, why don't I show you around? Maybe you'll see some method to my madness.
Some of them are starting to smell. I guess that discourages loitering? I know a guy. He's sort of a spatial arrangement guru. Gonna give you his number. Smart. Keep your friends close, and your charity cases closer. Teach, what was that? You let them walk out of here without spending a single coin.
You can't really force anyone to buy something.
You can make it a little harder for them to leave, though. Maybe physically block the door.
I think that's technically kidnapping.
Anything for a sale, right? Okay, maybe that's a little extreme. But you can always chum the waters a bit. You know, make them an offer they don't dare refuse.
I'm sure there's a version of that idea that isn't too intimidating.
I hope I didn't overstep just then. You obviously know your stuff. But I've always been of the mindset that once your prey is in your grasp, that's when you squeeze them for all they're worth.
That's a good strategy. I generally try to maximize my profit in every transaction. But I try to be smart about it. People only have so much patience. Be too pushy, and you might be trading a lifelong customer for a one-time profit.
I think I get you. Feeding frenzies are fun and all. But if you take a little nibble out of every customer, instead of devouring any one of them whole, then you'll eat well for years to come.
Again, that's sort of a scarily aggressive spin, but sure.
This is gold, Teach, pure gold. I came here to bask in the brilliance of a prophet of profit, and you sure delivered.
I felt sparks too. Want to stick around for a bit?
You got more to teach me, do ya? Or maybe I'll show you some of my moves. Gotta say, I'm real happy at how this arrangement's working out so far. I knew you knew your stuff.
I mean, I did try to tell you so from the start.
And I've always believed the best way to learn to swim is to swim alongside the very best.
thanks for joining me. I've got to pick out some new office furniture. And as harmless as that sounds, it can be a fraught experience.
Why? Are you a big spender?
Not exactly. Just come with me to the lamp vendor, okay? And pull me out if I do anything weird.
Luna? Luna, snap out of it!
Oh no, I did it again, didn't I?
Maybe we should skip the lamps for now. What's next on your list?
Rugs, but we'd better steer clear of the wool ones. I've been known to snack. Well, that wasn't quite the relaxing outing I had in mind. I'm more out of sorts than I was at the start. Eyeballs don't randomly fall out of sockets, right? They're in there pretty good. My teeth are chattering so hard that my face feels loose.
Nerves. Stress?
Yes, and yes. Also lack of sleep. Caffeine is nature's panacea, but it has its limits, and I may have found them, Sylvia. I know I probably spend too much time complaining to you about my big client, but you are my best friend, Sylvia, and you're the best sounding board I have when I'm feeling desperate to vent.
Vent away. That's what I'm here for.
You're too good to me, Sylvia. As you've probably noticed, I've been burning the candle at both ends. I've started feeling like I'm in danger of burning out completely. So, I let Her Highness know that the amount of work she was asking for wasn't sustainable. I was afraid she'd be disappointed. I thought maybe I'd even lose her business. But instead, she came back with an offer.
An offer?
She wants to buy the whole business, Sylvia. She wants my little boutique to become her full-time publicity team. That's right, a team. She wants me to expand, and her offer came with a very generous number attached.
Luna? Congratulations! That's every entrepreneur's dream, right?
Maybe. To be honest, I'm not really sure what I want. How do I even begin to make such a big decision?
What does your 5-year plan say? Does taking the offer get you closer to your goals?
Sylvia, that's brilliant! I might not have planned for this specifically, but there is a plan. I need to consider new opportunities in that context. And it's a lot to consider. Am I ready to cede control on this scale? Am I ready to cut my other clients loose to focus on a single ongoing project? I don't know the answers. Honestly, my head throbs when I even try to think about it. Did I mention my eyes feel like they're bulging out?
You need some sleep, I think. A big decision like this, you need to come at it with a clear head.
Sleep. Now that you've said it, that's all I can think about. You're a master of subliminal suggestion, Sylvia. I hope you're using those skills in your daily negotiations.
Listen to the sound of my voice, and give me all your money.
I'm not totally under your control. Although I'd pay you an absurd amount of money for a supercharged cup of coffee right now.
Poor Luna. More coffee is the last thing she needs. Maybe I can brew up something even better.
Sylvia, pull up a fishing rod. We gotta replenish the provisions. Oh, I wish for a fish. And I wish I wish for a dish for the fish.
I wonder if we might have more luck if we were quiet. Or used more appetizing bait.
Oh, we're just the decoys. We're supposed to be super conspicuous. That way the fish swim away from us and right into the blast fishing zone off the side of the boat.
As the saying goes, you catch more fish with cannons.
Huzzah! Oh, right. Sylvia, there's something we gotta discuss. You know, all that, hey, you're a blood brother, welcome to the family stuff. Might have gotten ahead of ourselves.
Wow, so much for family is forever, I guess.
You're still a blood brother, Sylvia.
Yeah, we aren't dropping you off at the orphanage or anything. In fact, hold up. I started us off on the wrong path. We need to have us a perlay. In other words, let's clear our heads and start over.
Consider it done. Now, what did you want to talk about?
It ain't really no big deal. Just had some of the crew point out you can't be a real pirate if you never made an offering to the big guy.
The big guy?
You know, the pious Piscine? The saltwater savior? He of the many scales and no fingers?
The Great Katuna.
Oh, hail the Great Katuna!
The Great Katuna is a pirate deity, I take it?
The one and only. From his trench far below, he watches all that transpires upon the ocean's surface. When he is pleased, our ships can come and go without any hassle. When he is displeased, look out.
Storms, tidal waves, primordial horrors newly wakened and crazed with hunger.
And once, I got a splinter. The best way to stay on Katuna's good side is by making an offering. Big guy likes his cut of the booty, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so you throw stuff overboard? Like seashells? Wine and mutton?
More like cold hard cash, Sylvia. Or the equivalent in precious goods. In your case, a couple fancy potions would do the trick.
Whatever it takes. If I need to make an offering, then so be it.
Well, that's what we like to hear. In fact, since you've got so much money to spare, maybe kick a little my way too.
That's bordering on sacrilege, Salt.
Katuna doesn't mind a little entrepreneurial spirit. Anyway, we'll give you some time to get your offering together. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Get in the deep water deity's good graces, and it'll be smooth sailing from here on out.
If I want to run with salt and pepper, I've got to make a sacrifice to Katuna. It'll hurt my bottom line, but I've come this far.
Uh-oh. I know that face. Either you just swallowed a mouse, or you're about to blurt out another confession.
In truth, I do have a... Well, confession is too strong a word, and listen, just remember you've already forgiven me, so you can't get mad, and...
That's not how forgiveness works, Oswald!
Hear me out now. Can you do that for me? I need you to know the whole story. As I've told you before, my own hubris is to blame for my current feathery condition. With my prowess for potions, I was confident that I could be the first to make it to Maven's abandoned castle and live to tell the tale. And I was right. I simply didn't foresee all the complications.
Complications is one way of putting it.
Let me finish, would you? Naturally, I was desperate to find a cure. Upon returning home, I set myself to finding one. As I pored over every text I could find on the subject, all other concerns were forgotten. I spared not a thought for my business, my customers, or my debt. Then Helena came poking around, praising the place. She thought I was just some bird. I realized that she couldn't sense me with her magic. My transformation had broken that infernal soul binding of hers. And I suddenly felt no great rush for a cure. But there is a cure. A potion, in fact.
There is? That's great news! What do we need to make this cure?
Well, that's the rub. I found the formula in Maven's own journals. And it requires an exceedingly rare ingredient, one she herself cultivated in her castle laboratory. It is known as Maven Bloom. For years, this ingredient was thought lost to history. But shortly before your arrival here, members of the Heroes Guild found a single sample locked away in her castle. They brought it back. It now sits within the guild hall's vaults, and there it shall remain. Until the day it is awarded to the potion maker who wins the 5th and final competition.
Wait. The ingredient you need can only be obtained by winning this competition circuit? The very circuit that you insisted was my only shot at saving myself from the debt you saddled me with? Oswald, did you manipulate me into getting that ingredient for you?
No. A little. It's a happy coincidence. The competition is the best way for you to make the money you need. And hasn't it been working out so far? I only neglected to mention that I had a second reason for ushering you in that direction.
Unbelievable. All right, well, it's not as if I have another option here. But I'm warning you, no more secrets. You need to be on your best behavior. Or else, I might just use that Maven Bloom to make a delicious soup.
You wouldn't!
Try me. See what happens.
Harumph. Also, you should know I ate the last cookie.